What's going on, people? It's Mr. back again with the previous show. I hope everyone's fit and well. And Nottingham Forest are playing Tottenham Spurs on Sunday. Massive game at the City Ground. I've got a special guest, big content creators in the game, and I'm happy to announce that we are Tottenham arrived on DoreOnTour. How you doing, lads?
Yeah, all good, my friend, all good. Obviously, we collabed earlier on when we got Jed Spence, so it was good to catch up then, and it's good to be back on your show, or good to be on your show, to be fair.
Good, thank you very much. So people as well, in the comments below, if you're watching this pre-record, put your predictions for the result. Right, boys, let's talk about the game on Sunday. And it's been, as you know, it's been 23 years since we've played each other. How excited any of you are?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited. I wish we could go back to the game back in '91, but that wasn't to be. That's the last time we won the FA Cup, at your expense. But I mean, for me, I think Nottingham Forest are a team that belong in the Premier League, and it's been a long time coming, and finally you're back, and bloody hell, you're making a nuisance of yourselves, all the signings you're making. But no, I'm excited for this game, I really am.
Yeah, I've never been to the City Ground, so I'd love to go. There's always a stadium that looks like a good one as well, that with a good atmosphere, and Forest have always had a very, very good fan base. And as you say, it's a club that has been sorely missed, I would say, in the Premier League.
As you know, Spurs, like I said, a big club in my eyes, to be fair. And you've made some big statements with, like I said, Conte, fantastic manager. Since he's been to your club, what changes has he made?
I mean, everything has changed from top to bottom in this football club. It's actually crazy because before Conte had come in, we hired Nuno, and it took us 75 days to hire Nuno, and he was just the wrong appointment altogether. We could hardly get a shot on target when Nuno first came last season. Since Conte's come in, literally the whole club from top to bottom has completely transformed. We've got a structure about us. We're scoring goals. We're tough to score against. And the signings that we've brought in since Conte has come, all you have to do is look at our January business last year with Bentancur and Kulusevski. Them two completely transformed us, especially Kulusevski completely transformed our attack. Now they just don't know where to defend us, because if you focus down the left, we can go down the right with Kulusevski. Obviously, we've got Sonny on the left and Kane up top as well. But I think that the way we're playing our football, we're really hard to play against, and we score a lot of goals. And Conte has just made us a team that you don't really want to play against, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
No, I was going to say, I just think the standards of the club have just risen immensely since Conte's come in, and I think that's been a massive difference. Before, certain things were acceptable. For example, in the transfer window, not going for transfers late in the window, not having a plan going into season, only looking for opportunities and things like that. But all of a sudden, as now Conte's come and we're doing things in the right way, and now things that were acceptable for his arrival are not acceptable anymore, and that's his way of trying to transfer us into winners.
You made a good start of the season. I'm surprised, but like I said, you've done well. Like I said, I've seen the result on the weekend against Wolves, 1-0, but you've got Forest on Sunday. Do you think this is going to be a different kind of season that you've had in previous league times?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be difficult. Look, Forest have a lot of signings. They've got a lot of new players to bed in. That's obviously going to take time. So you could argue maybe we're catching them at a time where they're still bedding in all these new signings. But with all these new signings as well, breeds positivity, breeds excitement, and that can obviously give adrenaline and give the players energy. And obviously now at the City Ground, it's a massive home game. Obviously, you beat. Was it West Ham at home, didn't you? In your first home game of the season.
We were all cheering you on that day, don't you?
and so I do think it's going to be a difficult game. I think you're going to put a lot of energy into the game. I think Steve Cooper is a very good manager, and he's done a brilliant job at Nottingham Forest so far. So I really don't expect an easy game. But if we can maybe ride the early storm and maybe get over the initial, I do think you're going to come flying out the traps trying to attack us. If we can get over that initial period and without conceding and then bed ourselves into the game, hopefully our quality can take over. But I'm not expecting an easy game whatsoever.
Yeah, and you're going to have the fans on top of you at the City Ground. We saw it against West Ham. The atmosphere was incredible, and I'm expecting no different this weekend. I'm really not, and it's going to be a tough game. And I was actually looking at these fixtures when it first came out, and obviously you got Chelsea away there that I looked at the most difficult in our first few fixtures. But I actually looked at Forest to one of the most difficult games in our earlier stages of the season, just because coming back into the Premier League after so many years, your fans are going to be well up for it, and some of the players you've brought in are good players. So I think it's going to be a good game of football. I really do.
What players? Like I said, Forest brought 15 players in, but what players are you worried about? I know everyone talk about Jesse Lingard, but in your opinion, what players are you worried about for Saturday?
I mean, Brennan Johnson, to me, you look at last season, the amount of goals he scored, got off the scoring last week, opened up his account in the Premier League. I mean, he's the one for me to really look out for. It's hard to mention any of your new signings because they really haven't got down and got running yet, but Emmanuel Dennis is going to be a very good signing for you. Really good signing. And I'm in a fantasy draft league, and I had Brennan Johnson in my team, and this weekend I decided to take him out for Emmanuel Dennis. So that was
unbelievable.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he was quality last season for Watford, Emmanuel Dennis, so he's definitely going to be one to keep an eye on. I think Morgan Gibbs-White as well. You signed for big money. I think he's a central midfielder with a lot of quality, and he's still yet to really explode, I think, in terms of like playing in the Premier League week in, week out consistently. But I remember his early appearances for Wolves. I think he made his debut even against Spurs, and I remember he was absolutely brilliant in that game. In a game we just scraped 3-2 at Molineux, and obviously he had a brilliant season last season. I think I think Forest now. I know they've spent raised a lot of eyebrows, that big outlay, but he's one definitely to keep an eye on with his powerful running in midfield, late runs in the box, and obviously he has the ability, his passing and dribbling ability to really control the midfield.
Another one who I've been really impressed with as well was Neco Williams, the way he started the season. I think he's a really good player and a really clever signing from Liverpool there for you. So I think he's definitely going to add a lot to your defence, Neco Williams.
100%. You know what? And this was the next question, and I know we're going to talk about it. Jed Spence. I know you had Des Oldham on your channel to talk about him, but we know that Conte said it wasn't his signing; it was a club signing. What has been happening with Jed Spence? Because there's been loads of gossip about he refused to play, blah blah blah. So if you can, what's been happening with Jed Spence?
Refused to play?
No, that's all rubbish. It's not true.
Haven't heard that.
It's not true. I heard those rumors flying around Twitter yesterday, wasn't it, or a couple of days ago? But I think it's completely made up, to be honest. And we heard from our sources in terms of Jed Spence when he did come in that he was going to spend some time with the under-23s because Conte just doesn't think that he's ready just yet. But then Alistair Gold, a reliable Spurs journalist, did claim the other day that he will potentially get his chance this season at Spurs. So I think that with Jed Spence, you're talking about coming in and competing with Emerson Royale and Matt Doherty, seasoned, with Matt Doherty definitely a seasoned pro in the Premier League, and Emerson Royale, who seems to be getting better and better recently. So it's going to be difficult for Jed Spence, but I think the way Conte sees it is that he's one for the future, and he is going to be our future right back at some point. But it's going to take a bit of time for him to bed in.
I think he comes into a team as well with Doherty and Emerson. As much as they've come under a lot of criticism since they've been at Spurs, they're actually in very good form, both of them, to be fair to them. And Spence coming in as a young wing back from the Championship, he is. I guess he has to earn his spot, and that's the reality. And with Doherty and Emerson playing well, there's no real reason for Conte to go with Spence up until they start underperforming, and then Spence can get his chance. So I think everyone assumed signing Spence, he was going to be our number one straight away, but I always thought it was going to take a bit of time for him to get into the team, so it doesn't surprise me massively. Although if I'm in Spence's shoes, I can understand maybe the disappointment that not necessarily hasn't been a starter straight away, but he hasn't even been in the squad the last two games, and that's probably a bit of a disappointment. But I think he just needs to stay patient, knuckle down, and I'm sure if Conte sees him, if he's the best right wing back in training, he'll get his chance.
Like I said, it's a massive game on Sunday. Like I said, I spoke to, I don't know if you remember when we played at City Ground, I think it was at FA Cup, we drawn 2-2 with you. I don't know if you remember Ian Wone, he scored them two goals. I spoke to him and there's another game that we played against, it was at White Hart Lane when we beat, I think it was at FA Cup, Mark Crossley saved. Can you remember the memories when we played against you lot?
Yeah, I do remember one. I remember one back in 2005. I remember there was one player, Chris Commons, absolutely.
He
battered us that day.
Tore us a new one,
yeah,
Chris
yeah.
Commons. I remember that. I've never seen a player completely strike the fear into our defence before, and it was like coming from the Championship. I think we drew that game at the White Hart Lane and then beat you at the City Ground 3-0, if I remember rightly. But I just remember Chris Commons had an absolutely brilliant game, and then he went on to go to play for Celtic, didn't he? It was and had quite a good career.
No, he went to Forest, then he went to Derby, and then he
Derby. That was it.
And then
Derby.
he went to Celtic. But, don't talk about Chris Commons on this channel because everyone else get absolutely annihilated.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
No, but look, you got to mention the '91 FA Cup final. You know,
we don't want to mention that.
Des Walker in his prime. You know, and also Paul Stewart. Paul Stewart, the last person to score in an FA Cup final to us. So unbelievable stuff.
Yeah.
Never forgive you for ruining Gascoigne's career with that injury. Never forgive Forrest for that.
Yeah, listen to me. It's not our problem. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. We'll talk about Spurs forward. Like I say, you got Son, you got Kane. You've got a good side, and people talk about Harry Kane. He wants to win trophies. Blah blah blah. Was you surprised that he stayed? Is it start of last season? Like he stayed with you lot?
I mean, I don't think it was entirely his decision, to be honest. I mean, at the end of the day, City didn't stump up the cash to buy him. They bought Jack Grealish for 100 million and then offered us 85 million plus 15 million in add-ons for Harry Kane. I mean, that just doesn't add up. And if you don't stump up the money, and I think that if City actually stumped up the money that we were asking for, 150 odd million or whatever it might have been, then I think he would have gone. But ultimately, they didn't stump up enough cash, and that's what it came down to.
Last few questions. I'm going to ask you, like I said, Spurs made a good start. I know they always want top 4 football. Where do you think that you'll finish this season?
Yeah, look, I think most Spurs fans would accept that a title challenge is probably still beyond us, but the only things that give us a glimmer of hope is the fact that we have Antonio Conte at the helm. If anyone can overcome a massive points gap from the previous season, Antonio Conte is the man who's shown time and again he can do that. And then obviously we have Kane and Son, the best Premier League duo in their prime right now, and those factors and the fact that we've had a very good summer maybe have that glimmer of hope that you never know, maybe something special could happen. Can we really challenge for the title? Maybe there's an outside chance, but I think most Spurs fans accept probably a top 4, top 3 finish, and hopefully we can break that trophy duck somewhere this season, and that'll be a very, very good season. I think that's what we're aiming for, but I think I really do believe there is an outside chance if things can click, if Man City and Liverpool maybe drop their standards a bit, and we can really click as well as we have been under Antonio Conte on a consistent basis, maybe we really can achieve something special. Honestly, if there was any other manager at the helm but Conte, I don't think anyone would even mention the title. But just because Conte's here, there's just that slight chance that maybe we can do something special.
That 1%, that we're clinging on to. But, you know, as football fans, you always got to cling on to the dream, you know what I mean? And that is the dream, to win the Premier League. I think this year, like my brother said, it probably will come a bit too soon to even talk about challenging for the title. But I genuinely believe if we keep going the way we're going and keep making the signings that we're making, next season could be a very big year for us.
You did upset me because I know last time it was you and Leicester fighting for the Premier League, and you did upset me when you drawn 2-2 with Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. So you did upset a few Forest fans with that, but we move on from that. So we're not going to talk about it again.
Yeah, we should have had you in the Premier League then, because the whole of the Premier League was supporting Leicester.
Exactly.
Then. Literally, everyone just bending over for Leicester week in, week out.
I wish we had some Forest fans backing us up. Oh, what a shame.
I was backing you, but just we get Leicester fans to fit the rivals, but you always say the Premier League, Spurs dropped it, so it is what it is. Last before these lads, like I said, I've done my prediction. I think, like I said, the way Spurs are going on, the start of the season, we've got a good team, and I personally think that you'll get a win. I think you'll win 3-1. But how do you boys think you'll get your score predictions? And think who's the player that we've got to watch as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm also going 3-1 Spurs in my prediction. I think that it's going to be, like I said before, a really good game of football. When you're looking at players who to watch, obviously you've got Kane and Son in there. I mean, they don't need any introduction, but the player I'm going to pick out is Dejan Kulusevski, because first game against Southampton, he was completely unplayable. Last game, he was brilliant as well in the second half, and he started the season really well, kicked on and pretty much picked up from where he left off last season as well, where he was just playing unbelievably well. You don't know what to do with him, because if you go too close, he'll burn you, and if you stand off him as well, he'll just pick up probably a brilliant cross and put it straight on Harry Kane's head. So Kulusevski is definitely one to watch out for, and obviously Ivan Perisic as well. He's come in, came on at Chelsea, got an assist for us, and started in his first game last week and got an assist as well. So he started his life at Tottenham really well, Ivan Perisic. Yeah,
he's definitely one to watch. He's a winger playing a wing back pretty much, and he's a goal and he's a goal contribution machine from that wing back position. So definitely one got to watch him. And if hopefully Romero's fit, he's one of the most exciting centre backs you'll ever watch play. Especially when you watch him up close, the aggression he plays with. So for sure, that's one to watch out for Forest fans.
Last but not least, lads, like I said, I think you say 3-1.
I said 3-1, yeah.
Yeah.
What was yours?
I'll go 2-1 Spurs. I think it will be close. I really do. I think Forest will have that energy, but I think the quality will show in the end, and we'll shave it 2-1.
100%. Boys, thank you for coming on my channel. If you'd like to see, if you don't know, everyone make sure to subscribe to WeAreTottenhamTV. Link in the description, and make sure everyone subscribes as well to DoreOnTour. Put your score clips in the description as well. Thank you everyone for watching, and like I said, see you Sunday, everyone.
Thank you.